All right, welcome back to another day trading recap. Today is Friday, however, market is closed, but I'm going to review Thursday's trades. I did have a $50.46 day, so $55 day. It's a solid base hit. Definitely, was happy to walk away with that kind of profit. Majority of it was made on LEXX and VERU. So we'll review these trades here. First, we'll go to PBTS. Had a couple scalps. I usually don't trade penny stocks unless there's really nothing moving. But on pre-market on Thursday, there wasn't much moving. So, I gave it a shot for this breakout. But, it was really choppy and I didn't make anything on it. Pretty much nothing. I was looking for the break of 1.42 cents. Kept having these rejection candles here and it kind of spooked me, and then I started chasing it up here, and then I got out break even. Just pretty much a mess, so I'm not going to go too deep into those. CRXT was another stock that I traded that wasn't too much. Here was a dip off the 9 EMA, I scalped for a couple cents, small size. Here was an ABCD pattern, looking for a break of 1.62, which was, I had a great thesis. This was a valid thesis. It was in a front side, forming an ABCD pattern, held the VWAP, broke back over the 9 EMA, but I got spooked from this candle. I don't know. I was just taking too long to resolve itself. And when that happens, sometimes I get in my head and I shake myself out. The market doesn't even shake me out. I shake myself out sometimes. And, I took a small loss there. However, my thesis was still valid because price was holding the 9 EMA, and I should have been adding instead of selling. But that's how I learn, I'm making note of my mistakes, and that's how I'm going to get better. So I'm glad that I'm, willing to face this, and I'm reviewing my trades, and that's just how, I'm going to be able to fix it in real time, is by remembering that, if my thesis is still valid, there's no reason to be selling. And this could have been actually a decent win if I was adding more aggressively on this candle and that candle, especially since volume was increasing. What else did we trade? ATER. Did I already go over this? Yeah, one quick trade for the break of the back over the 9 EMA. It was kind of a pointless trade. Didn't, a couple cents, very, very small size. So LEXX here. Nice pop in the morning. However, I didn't trade any of that. Very crazy. If I would have, I'm sure some people have chased this all the way up here and got flushed on. But so I was keeping this on watch because it was a former runner. There was news on it, and I thought maybe we could see something on it. I was just gonna keep it on watch. Here we rejected. However, once I saw the reclaim of the 9 EMA here, and then volume increasing into the VWAP, I was definitely taking note. I was keeping an eye on it because I thought that people would keep an eye on this as well, because it's been a former runner. It's a very small float, has news on it, has a history of going parabolic. But I didn't want to trade it for the break of VWAP, even though I saw it. I was watching it break through VWAP. However, I didn't want to trade it because on a previous stock, on BCTX, I was going for the break of the VWAP and it rejected. And so I didn't want to make that same mistake on LEXX. I wanted to let it prove itself to show me that there was buyers on it and there was support. So I waited on this breakout, but it squeezed into a halt. And I was like, okay, now there's buyers on this. Volume is increasing. I know there's traders watching this. So on the resumption, I bought 427, added more as I was holding, kind of this level of 410, and I was added a couple lots at 419, 423, 424, and then I got a quick pop to 431. That was a nice profit. And then as it pushed into 450, I was adding into 444 for the anticipation of 450, and I was able to take off at 458 and 459 for a nice 15-cent win. That was a beautiful trade. And then at this point, I was up very nicely on the day. I was up like 63 or something like that, and I started giving a little bit back on this backside here. I went for a panic dip buy off the VWAP. However, I flushed a little bit too much, and it was sold some at a loss just to kind of manage my risk. But then I added back at 417 for the break back over to VWAP as it held the 9 EMA, and I was able to capture a couple cents on that. So all in all, this trade here was about break even, maybe a small loss. And then as I saw on this candle, I was holding 423. I was adding and kind of getting aggressive, thinking we would see another push through the previous high. And I was able to sell some at a small profit, but then it flushed. This candle flushed, and I was holding 50 shares still, trying to get back out. And I got out at $4. So, I mean, I don't even know what happened here. I think this ended up to be maybe a small win here, but this last 50 shares definitely hurt me. And then here we got to break back over the VWAP, so I added. However, we got a huge rejection candle here, and that kind of spooked me, and I had to sell because this could have kept selling off. This is showing weakness right here. Shorts were getting aggressive. So it's smart that I sold my position here because, my thesis was, break back over VWAP, and we got to hold VWAP. But we broke back below it, and I had to take my loss. But then once we broke back over the VWAP and we held the 9 EMA, then, I took my starter and I was like, okay, there might be a little bit of squeeze on this. So I bought at 432, a little bit high on this candle. I probably could have got a lower price, but 25 shares, and then added an extra 100 at 435 for the break of this pivot at 440. And I started taking some off at 441, and then 428 and 431. Not that good. Small win there. And then I added back. I was still holding 50 shares, but then I added 175 more, getting a little bit aggressive here at 459 for the break of that previous high, which was here at 467. And 459 I added here, looking for that push, and I started taking it off at 471, 467, 458. And it was really bouncing back and forth here, so I was just not getting that many good fails, but I was able to average a 5-cent win on 225 shares. So it's pretty solid. And then we got a huge rejection candle, and then that was it. I was done with that stock. Until here, I don't know what I did here. I don't know why I was trading on this, but small scalp, 2 cents, small size. Here, small loss, and then here, small win. So not much there. That's kind of irrelevant. I shouldn't even been trading that. The setup wasn't there. It has a history of making huge flushes, and I was just putting myself at risk for another flush. So I didn't really need to be trading this here. And then the last stock I traded, was VERU, which I made some good money on too, and I was able to get some good profit. Here, pre-market, I thought this would be a push towards the pre-market high, the previous pre-market high. But the volume, I guess, just wasn't there. And, I tried backside trading this thinking we'd still see a move upwards, but, it just kept selling off, and I just kept taking paper cuts on it. Very small paper cuts. I like cutting my losses quickly. If it's not going to break out, or if it's still kind of downtrending, I don't want to be holding or accumulating more position. I just want to take my loss there and wait for the next setup. Because that's how I've been able to be consistently green every month, every week, and most days, 3 out of 2.5, no, I'd say about 2.2 out of 3 days, I'm able to be green on the day because I'm disciplined enough to take my losses quickly. Here we got a panic dip buy off 15. I was able to capture 10 cents on that and sell the rest at kind of break even. Here we got to bounce off 484 after I saw this low. So the low was So it was a double bottom at 1475. So I added that 1484, looking for a pop back towards the 90 EMA. I was able to get maybe about 5 cents on that. This is sort of like a mean reversion trade. I wasn't really looking for a red to green. I was just looking for, this as being a potentially oversold zone and for a retrace back to the 90 EMA. Those scalps can offer some good opportunity in very choppy or sideways markets. Here we got a break back over the VWAP, so I was a little bit hesitant, but I finally got into it just in case it broke out all the way to the previous pre-market high. Taking profits kind of early here, but thank God I did because it had a huge flush candle. Tried panic dip buying this at 59 for a bounce off VWAP, maybe seeing another move, but we got a huge red candle here, and I just immediately sold on the break back below VWAP. So that was that. Overall, I ended here. I think I ended green. Then once it flushed here, I thought this was just going to be done. We had a couple good days on VERU. A lot of opportunity could have been made. A lot of money had been made on VERU. I thought this was just going to go back to where it came from. But it started, reclaiming the 90 EMA, back below 90 EMA, reclaim the 90 EMA at higher volume, pushing back towards VWAP, breaking back over VWAP, and now I'm like, holy shit, this might actually just have been like a shakeout. It might just squeeze back towards 20, 30, it could have gone however high it wanted. Stocks do this all the time. They shake it out. They shake out the current longs to create liquidity for buyers to get at a lower price for big, institutional buyers or big, big traders who have a big portfolio, or even market makers who want to accumulate at a lower price to be selling at a higher price later on. And so they created, sort of liquidity down here at 14, and then they accumulated to where, now shorts. I've just been like blindsided here, and they panicked to cover, and longs are getting long. Active traders are getting on this, and then we had a nice $3 move from here from VWAP all the way up to 1750. That's insane. And I hesitated to get in because I thought, we would have just rejected here again like we did here. And so I waited until, 1627, and 1627 is this level here for the break of 1634, previous high, pivot point. And I was like, oh shit, this is going to squeeze through the high. And so I got in, it halted up, and then I put in a limit order right under that previous, breakout level at 658. And I added, once we broke out at 658, I took my profits, and then I tried adding back on this 1 minute dip buy here. However, VERU is a little bit slower than, a very small float stock. And I shook myself out here. I was a little bit disappointed because I could have got a nice 30 cents here, 30, 40 cents. And I shook myself out, but, at least it's not a huge, I shook myself out break even. It's not a red trade, this could have, sometimes it pulls back, it does like it breaks out, and then it'll flush on you like 10%. So, I'm glad I wasn't stuck in anything like that, but, just off the sheer volatility of a breakout and a short squeeze, I like to trade that volatility. And this could have offered a couple, 40, 50 cents here. And I shook myself out, and I was a little bit disappointed. And then at that point, I was like, you know what? Now I'm in a state of revenge trading. I gave back some profits. And, I'm just going to be grateful that, I was able to get a solid base hit. And I'm walking away green. And, it's already 10:30 at that point. And that's, after that point, you kind of just grasped me at straws, and there wasn't really much the rest of the day until INDO popped up. But at that point, I wasn't trading. But this offered a huge move. This was like an 80% move. That's insanity. Former runner from the oil stocks. I don't think it's ever going to go back to 87 unless oil starts going crazy again. But yeah. That did make a move there. Traders could have got some opportunity later in the day, but that was it. I finished trading after VERU, ended up 55.46, and that was it. Overall in the week, I finished up on the week $117, so that's pretty solid. That's about average the past few weeks that I've been having. I felt like this week was super choppy, and any one of those days this week could have definitely been a big red day. However, I ended up small green on these 3 days, even though they were super choppy. That was choppy. This one was choppy. You know, any one of these days, you know, I could have just made one wrong move, and I could have been a huge red day. So even though it felt like it wasn't really a good week, I still ended up pretty damn good. So that's interesting. And then on Thursday, just yesterday, I had a nice solid base hit, which put me nicely green. And then honestly, I'm on track, you know, for 2021, which is my first year trading. I only made about $1,500, and then already in this year, I'm about, you know, at 950. So I'm definitely on track to maybe double or triple or quadruple this number here, and that will be super, super fulfilling just to see, you know, results coming in after trading every day and putting so many hours into this for 2 years, and you know, finally starting to see some results. It feels really good. And you know, I just want, like, just, I like putting effort into this, and I love seeing the results come. That's a part of the fulfillment that people get from trading or from anything, is just by putting in so much work and then seeing those results. It just makes you want to put even more effort in just to see more results, just because it feels so good just to get better at something. And yeah, just being on track, you know, doing very well every month. Here at a nice month here. This month I'm on track to maybe match this month or even more. I don't want to jinx it, but you know, just what the current trend is showing. And you know, I've been consistently green for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess I can consider that 10, 11, 12 months in a row. That's awesome. It feels so good, because you know, I've had months where, you know, I've just been red and red and red and red and red and red, and finally just to have, you know, that results come, and it's just something to click, and that, you know, you're managing your risk and you're letting your winners run, and you know when to get in and when to get out. It feels good to know have a system going, instead of, you know, just sitting down at the market and have no idea or feeling how the hell am I going to do this, or how to even trade in general. Like, there's some days, you know, in the past where I would sit down, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm buying high and selling low. You know, I don't need to be doing that. And then you try to reverse it, and it doesn't even work that way, because, you know, it's just something, you know, in the wiring in your head just takes so long to revert to being in sync with the market. And so even, you know, you're just feels like everything is just backwards when you first start learning, and then finally when it clicks, when you're like, you can finally get in flow with the market and make money, it just feels so good. And you know, I've just recently had that, and you know, now, you know, that I have this flow, you know, I want to be sizing up and sizing up and sizing up, but what I'm finding is every time I size up, I'm facing those same, you know, emotional conditions that I have on myself when I'm trading. Is that, you know, now everything's backwards again. You know, I'm trading emotionally, and I'm buying high and selling low again because I'm in fear, or I'm getting greedy, or I'm, you know, nervous, or I'm shaking myself out. And so those all come back, that I was trying to deal with when I first started trading. And but now that I know, like, I've done it before, you know, I feel like I kind of sort of have, you know, like a strategy to overcome my emotional challenges when I'm trading bigger and bigger size, you know, to you know, hold my position in the state of fear or in the state of anxiety, you know, hold my position because my thesis is still valid. That takes so much discipline and mental strength. And also, when you're in a big position and it falsifies your thesis, you know, you need to have the discipline to take it off. And you know, when you're in bigger size, you know, you're sometimes reluctant to start selling your shares at a loss, at a decent sized loss, at a bigger loss than you've taken in the past because it's on bigger size, just because of the number. and that's just something that's very challenging. But I feel like, now, since I've done it before, from bumping my share size up from 10 shares to 20 shares to 20 shares to 30 shares, and now 30 shares to 50 shares, now I feel like, I have almost a blueprint to knowing how to deal with my internal emotional instincts, or those instincts that are not conducive to making money in the market. And so that's just so important to know how to deal with those things in yourself. And just dealing it in yourself is different for everyone. How I deal with it and overcome those things are different from everyone else. But what I'm finding is a lot of it is just, being present with the feelings as they are coming up in your body as you're trading. When you feel the anxiety, when you feel that the market is going to break out and make a big move, and this has huge potential, just feeling the anxiety or the nervousness or the potential fear, but then pressing that buy button anyways and just saying, I have to, if it does break out, I'm going to regret it. So I need to at least put in my starter and be ready to add as confirmation is coming in on the tape and on the charts. And that takes a lot of discipline, and it's different for everyone, just learning how to deal with that. But that's what I want to leave today on. It's definitely a longer recap today, but if you guys got any value out of this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week on the next day trading recap. And I hope we still have a hot market so we can make some more trades and not, go through another slow period like we've had, earlier in the year. So hopefully the market stays hot, and we'll have some more opportunity next week. So see you then, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.